Hello, health coaches, and hello to those of you who are not yet a health coach. Maybe you're still in school, maybe you're in the process of getting certified, or maybe you're just thinking about becoming a health coach. Recently, I've actually been noticing that many of you who are watching and listening may not already be certified in this profession. And I want to say hello. And I want to say that I think you're really smart because what you're doing is you're peeking behind the scenes before you invest in your education. You want to know, what is this field all about anyway, from those of us who are in it. So kudos to you, really smart move. And this episode is for all of you for whatever reason are not currently practicing. And you're wondering, is health coaching the right thing for me? Or, should I start my business back up even though I didn't quite get it going a couple years ago? Or, you're in that state where you're not in motion and you're wondering if you should get in motion. So this is for you. My name is Michelle Fennickhouse. I've been a health coach with my own private practice for over 10 years, and I act as a mentor for my fellow health coaches. So if and when you are a student at the Institute for Integrative Nutrition, you will see me there in your curriculum where I teach about marketing. Now, today's episode was inspired by Audrey, I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly, who wrote, "I am a true believer of destiny. I stumbled onto your podcast by accident, and within a few weeks of listening to you, your message gave me the extra push to move forward with my health coaching journey. I quickly enrolled with IIN and can't wait to put all your valuable advice to practice. I look forward to your episodes. You are amazing. Keep inspiring all future coaches." I plan to do that. Thank you so much, Audrey, for that review on iTunes and for bringing to my attention yet again that some of our listeners are simply looking for that next step on their journey. We'd love to send you a little thank you gift, by the way. So Audrey, please send your mailing address to support@healthcoachpower.com and reference episode number 60. So the big question, should you become a health coach? Should you get your business started? Should you put yourself out there? I mean, who succeeds in this field anyway? I think I'm in a pretty good position to answer this question because I see a lot of businesses fail. I see a lot of businesses flourish. And as I was preparing to talk to you guys today, I thought about some of the most successful coaches that I know. They're either friends of mine, personal friends, or they're coaches that I've worked with inside my program, Healthy Profit University. But in any case, I noticed that they have a few things in common, as you might imagine. They're all different, right? This one specializes in weight loss. This one specializes in thyroid health. Everyone's all over the map in terms of who they help and how they help them. But they all have a personal story that seems to motivate them to help others. Because at the end of the day, right, while we do probably all of us, most of us want to make money and have a financially successful career, it's a much stronger motivator to witness the health transformations that take place right before your very eyes. I mean, that's the best part of being in this field. And I know I personally feel drawn, like with a rope, I get dragged towards anybody who's struggling with anxiety, with chronic stress, and with all of the health ailments that come with that, because that was me, right? And I was miserable. We're talking, 10 plus years ago now, maybe 15 years ago, changing my diet, changing my lifestyle. It changed my life in such a huge, dramatic way. And I want to talk to everybody about it. I just want to evangelize so hard when I see people struggling. Like, I would do this for free. I was doing it for free. Trust me. I used to be wicked annoying to all of my friends and family. So running a business really meant taking my message and packaging it up in a way that people actually want to listen and pay for my help. And I see that same kind of passion in like every successful health coach I know. Like, even when we're kind of behind the scenes, the mics are turned off, we're just hanging out. These are coaches who love talking and nerding out about this stuff. So if you have had your own, I'm going to call it a health awakening, that you just cannot stop yourself from spreading the good word about, then I think you should become a health coach, because that's the kind of people we are. All right. Now, how about this? Are you already the go-to person? Think about your coworkers, your friends, your family members. Do people already come to you asking for advice about food topics, nutrition, health, that sort of thing? If they are, that means, first of all, you're already well positioned in this field. You're already being seen as an expert. So go you, you have a leg up. It also means that you're putting out a vibe like, I know what I'm talking about. I can help you. I'm willing to help you. Talk to me. And if you have that vibe about you and people are already picking up on it, then yeah, I think this could be the right path for you. Absolutely. And then finally, and this is huge. Like, I put it last, but maybe I should have put it first. It's a question that I might need you to think about, meditate on this later. Do you have the capacity for growth? And I know you're like, yeah, of course, Michelle, everybody has the capacity for growth. But I mean, are you willing to be vulnerable, to fall down and get back up and then fall down like another 100 times? Because running your own business means you're stepping into the ring, right? There's no sitting on the sidelines in this business. You have got to get out there, and I guarantee that you're going to make mistakes all the time. I do to this day, multiple times a day. So if you have a fixed mindset that says, you know what, I'm good at XYZ, but don't ask me to do ABC because I don't know how to do that, then honestly, this may not be the right thing for you. All the successful health coaches I know have a growth mindset that says, yeah, right now I'm good at XYZ, but with practice, I know I can get great at ABC, or I can at least try. And yeah, I'm going to probably mess up along the way big time, but every time I do, I'm going to learn from those mistakes. I'm going to jot down, okay, what could I have done better? Where did that go wrong? How could I improve? What did I get from this mistake? So it becomes a positive. Now, if that's you, then I think you should become a health coach, because this entrepreneurial world is not for the faint of heart. And this isn't a highly established field. It's not like becoming, I don't know, like a lawyer or an accountant where a zillion people have done it before you and a zillion people will come after, and everyone kind of follows the same route to get there, more or less. Health coaching is much more nebulous. We are making it up as we go along. Like literally in the past 10 years, I feel like I have played a small role in creating what health coaching even is, because it just didn't exist before. So every day that I step into the ring, like I'm kind of improvising, and you're going to have to be willing to improv too. By the way, this whole idea of the fixed mindset versus the growth mindset, if you want to read more about that, it's a theory. There's a book by Carol Dweck, D-W-E-C-K, Carol Dweck, if you want to read more about it. I found it fascinating, and it's a theory I share with my clients because it applies to all sorts of situations in life. Now, I got into health coaching because, like I mentioned, I just couldn't shut up about it. I was voraciously reading every book I could get my hand on, learning everything that I could. And not a whole lot has changed, although these days I'm probably reading fewer books and listening to more podcasts, truth be told. And it's not just about health and wellness, but I'm constantly expanding my knowledge base around building a business, around online marketing. So it's like constant growth, constant change, and challenging my comfort zone. And I happen to love that. So listen, if you're not already a health coach, like if you are not enrolled in a school already, don't have a certification, and you just want to learn more about what it takes to become a coach and what options are available to you, I do have a free mini course available on my website. If you go to healthcoachpower.com/become. There's even a private Facebook group for that mini course where you can ask me questions about getting into this field and just get a sense of whether or not you're ready to take that next step. Again, this is Not for most of you. Most of you are already certified as health coaches, but if you are not, and if you are not already enrolled in a program, you can find that mini course at healthcoachpower.com/become. Now, I would love to take your questions. If you have any questions about becoming a health coach, or if you already are one, we're going to move on to some other topics now. So if you're here live, go ahead and tell me in the comments what would be helpful for you to hear about today. I have a question in line over here from Elena. Again, I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. Why can't you guys all just be named Mary? It would be so much easier for me. We get all these interesting names, but I do my best. Okay, Elena said, I am in a unique situation. I've been approached by an exec at a top modeling agency in New York City that needs coaches to help their girls with nutrition. They need a system to stay within sizing, etc. And she wants to know what my rates are, but it would be paid by the corporation, not the girls themselves. My question is, would you charge your normal individual rates, or would you suggest something higher because it would be paid by the company? I think that's a great question, Elena. And at first, my brain immediately thought, yeah, like, of course, the company's going to pay more. Companies generally do pay more than an individual would. They have budgets for this stuff. I mean, go for it, go for it. That's what I wanted to tell you. But I have a more intelligent answer for you upon thinking about it for a couple of minutes. So I generally suggest that you price your services according to the problem that you are solving. Did you hear that? Your price corresponds to the value of the problem you are solving. And it doesn't matter if you're solving it with meal plans or Reiki or magic, or if you're doing something in a group program, or if you're doing something individually, if it's online, if it's in person, none of that stuff matters. So in this case, I'm thinking whether it's the corporation that's paying or it's the girls that are paying, who cares? The point is, what problem are you solving? So if you were working one-on-one with, one of these models, the problem you'd be solving is for her to be within the size that she needs to be, right? So that's a big problem for her. But when you think about the agency as a whole, Elena, it sounds to me like you would be solving a problem like at that corporate level. You would be helping them keep all of their models within sizing guidelines, effectively keeping them in business, right? Like you would be eliminating what must be, I don't know anything about modeling. I'm sure that's hard to believe, but I've never been a model. but I'm guessing that you're actually solving a much bigger problem that this company faces. So if they don't have any models that can go to the shoot or walk on the runway that don't fit into the clothes, I mean, that is a huge business problem for them. That's going to cost them, I don't know, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars. So that is effectively what your services are worth to them. And that is why I think you should charge more, because the company itself is paying you and not the individual. I hope that makes sense. Let me know if you have any questions about that. Alrighty. We got another question here from Tanya, and Tanya said, I'm not a big fan of the meal plan idea for my practice. I don't want to tell people what to eat. However, I was thinking of making a food list. For example, I'd have a vegetable list, a fruit list, a protein list, a fat list, and an eat minimally list. And I would do something like pick a protein, pick a couple vegetables, pick a fat. That way I give my clients the power to choose what they want to eat themselves, but still giving them all the healthiest options out there. Obviously, keeping in mind that not every food is going to make everyone feel good. So intuitive eating is a big thing. But anyway, long story short, have any of you tried this method, and has it worked well? You know what, Tanya? I actually did something exactly like what you're talking about. I created a spreadsheet of sorts. I think I called it like a point and shoot meal planning spreadsheet. You can steal that if you want. I thought it was a good idea. It actually came from one of my clients who was like, I'm so busy. Like, I don't even have time to look at recipes. I just want to be able to point my finger and say okay, I'm just going to eat that. I'm going to pair it with that. And I thought, oh, I can make a resource that does this for you. So it might even still be on my website somewhere. I used it as an opt-in to get people on my mailing list. I called it something like, my point and shoot guide to meal planning. And it was exactly that. It was like a list of proteins and a list of fats and a list of vegetables and things like that. And I don't know that my client ever actually used it. And I've never heard from anybody who downloaded it that they used it, but it did convert well, meaning the number of people who saw that freebie available on my website, a good percentage of them opted into it. So I think it's a good idea that people are drawn to, and I would absolutely try it out. I think that's great thinking. And on this whole topic of like meal planning or helping people choose foods, it's always suggestion, right? So even if you are providing a meal plan, I've had clients who look at a sort of sample meal plan that I've given them and they go, oh, I get it. Like it clicks for them how they could make something for dinner on Monday and eat it for lunch on Tuesday and Wednesday. Like for some reason, having it mapped out in front of them just illustrates this point, and they're like, oh, I get it. I don't have to cook every day 100 times a day. So don't totally set aside the idea of meal plans. I think they can be really, really valuable, but all of these things are just tools that we can give our clients to help. So great thinking, and thanks for sharing that idea. Okay, Jessica had a question about payments. This one might get a little technical here. Let's see what I can do. She said, how do you collect payment for private and group programs? For groups, I have a link on my Squarespace website linked to Stripe, and I just got charged 3% fees, a Stripe processing fee and an application fee. That's 6%. I've also used Square and PayPal, and I know that those are about 3.5%. Help, I don't want all my income going to fees. So Jessica, you got a lot of feedback about this when you posted it in the Facebook group, or for anyone who didn't see, my take on the situation is if you want to do business in this day and age, you want to collect payment online, there's always going to be a fee. And if you ask me how much are the fees that I pay when like students sign up for my courses or a client signs up through my member portal, I don't know. And I don't care. It's not worth my time to go dig around and do the math. It's probably worth my time to focus on marketing and getting myself more clients, or focus on doing things to build my business, so that small, like 3%, 4%, whatever, just kind of doesn't matter. The point is that you want a system that just works flawlessly, that's easy for your clients to use, that's easy for you to make refunds when you need to make refunds, that's easy for you to track on your end with your accounting or bookkeeping software. And if everything is working smoothly, then I would say it's worth a couple percent just to have that system in place. So I don't know what fees are, and I say just don't even look at them. Now, if you are noticing that you're getting a double fee, yes, you might think about eliminating one of the tools that you're using. Like you'll find, I'm trying to think of an example, with Practice Better, which is a platform that I use for all of my clients, it manages the scheduling, it manages the billing, but it doesn't process the payment. So it connects with Stripe, and then Stripe processes the payment. I'm pretty sure Practice Better does not charge anything on top of the Stripe fee. But that's what I'm talking about. When you're using two tools together, yes, you might be getting some sort of double fee, and it might totally be worth it if that system is working flawlessly for you in other ways. And then Krista had a follow-up question to that. She said, do Thinkific and Stripe also work when someone's paying monthly for a program, or do you send them an invoice through another program? Krista asked me that because I use a member site called Thinkific for my course, Healthy Profit University. So when someone signs up for when a health coach signs up for Healthy Profit University, yes, I do get charged a fee, absolutely. And if they're paying monthly, then there's a fee every month, for each of their payments. If they pay in full, then that whole fee gets taken off the top. And that is a combination of the Thinkific platform and the Stripe platform working together. I do not send them an invoice through another program. But I want to stress that tools like Thinkific, like member sites, some of these more complicated tools are only necessary if you are running like a big program with lots of members, like hundreds of members, and you are constantly every day onboarding new members. If it's the kind of thing where you're going to have like 6 people and you're going to meet every Wednesday for 6 weeks, I mean, honestly, I would go easy on this. I don't think you have to over-engineer the situation. Just send them a PayPal invoice or have a PayPal button somewhere. I would just use the least amount of technology that you need to achieve the goal. You know what I'm saying? For example, Jessica, maybe your whole group just lives inside of a Facebook group. Your videos are there. Obviously, your community is there. Your files are there. Everything that you need. So if you're only going to have, like, let's say, under 20 people in your program, it wouldn't be that hard to have them just use a very basic payment method, just like you would with a private client where you're going to send them an invoice through PayPal or whatever you do. So don't make it too complicated, you guys. It's easy to get too complicated, and sometimes there's just no need for it. All right, what questions do you guys have for me? I see one here from Karen. She says, I feel a bit underaccomplished with a communications degree. It seems as though the health coaches with the medical background have a leg up on me. Is it even necessary to mention my education other than IIN? I hope not, Karen, because my degree is in art. I have a bachelor's degree in art. So yeah, you can do just fine in this field, even if you don't have a medical background. And actually, I was thinking about this because, like, but going back to our main topic of should you become a health coach, I was thinking like, oh, well, if you're already in a healthcare profession, but you're a little bit disenchanted with the healthcare system, then maybe that's a good person to become a health coach. And the answer is like, yes. But also, I see people really struggle when they come from a medical background because they're so used to operating in one paradigm, and health coaching is totally different. So sometimes people have a hard time making that switch from licensed medical professional to coach, even just in how they run their business. So it can actually be a negative thing, is what I have seen, Karen. You absolutely never have to tell anybody that you have a bachelor's degree in anything. You don't even have to tell them that you've been to college. It literally does not matter. And a lot of coaches that you see out there kind of spouting off about this medical condition and that medical condition may have done some sort of functional medicine training as a health coach. It doesn't say anything about their degree that they may have from a college or university. So please don't sell yourself short. If there is anything that you can do to make yourself feel more confident, it's really going to be all about business building, learning how to market yourself, and learning all about sort of the business of health coaching. And not so much like, do I know the medical term for this bone right here? You know, like that does not matter. I hope that helps you. And I hope that will help you set aside some of those limiting beliefs. Okay, question from Mary. Mary's saying, can you address how to work in a saturated field of health coaching? It is pretty saturated. I will agree with you there. And she also is mentioning how she's working part-time as a health coach until you can become full-time, how to go about that. She says, I think many fields are saturated, so it's got to be possible to succeed, and I'd love to hear thoughts. Yeah, so it's true. 10 years ago, I found it was enough to get people's attention if I said, I'm going to help you clean up your diet, or I'm going to help you eat clean, or I'm going to help you eat organic, or I'm going to help you eat well, and I'm going to teach you about organic food. And by the way, have you ever heard of kale? And like that was enough because people were like, huh? What's that? What's kale? Never heard of it. What's organic mean? So back then, I could be pretty broad, I could be pretty vague, and it was how can I phrase this? Like it was weird enough already. It wasn't something that everybody was hearing every time they turned around. It was already enough to spark somebody's attention that I was speaking about eating clean or eating organic. But as the market has become more saturated, and as like now Walmart has an organic aisle and things like this, and the general like consciousness of the public has really been raised, which is a wonderful thing. Now it's like, well, what message do you get out there with? I can't just say, hey, let me help you clean up your diet. Because they're like, yes, I have been offered that from like 20 other sources in the past 20 minutes. So the way to stand out in a saturated market is to niche down. It sounds a little bit counterintuitive because you would think, oh, there's not as much work for a health coach, or there's not as much people paying attention. I better get my message out to all people. But in actuality, that just makes you part of the white noise. And you don't want to be part of the white noise. You want your message to stand out. So the way to do that is to get more and more specific about who you serve and what problem you help them solve. So these days, I don't say, here, let me teach you how to clean up your diet, because that is like done. Like everybody knows what that's about. Nobody's listening to that message. I say things more along the lines of, and this is me in my business, I'm going to help you reverse the health conditions that come along with chronic stress and burnout. I work with type A driven women, so I'm not saying, hey, I work with anybody, man, woman, child, on any health issue that you have. I'm getting real specific about who she is and what problem I help her solve. So I think that is how you overcome the saturation problem. Your other part of the question is about working part-time as a health coach until you can become full-time. And this is tricky business. I know coaches who have done it, and they do it different ways. Now, it really comes down to having some sort of cushion for your income. And that might mean you're working full-time in another career and you save and you save and you save, so that as a health coach, you don't earn any money maybe for the first year or two, and you're going to be okay. Like that's the kind of cushion you need. Other people will leave their full-time job, health coach as much as they can, and then get a part-time job like at a natural food store or at Whole Foods. Or if you're lucky, you can work part-time in a field that you're already getting paid a professional wage in. So that can help ease that transition. Me, I feel very lucky. My husband was working full-time. He has a solid career, solid income, and we purposely tamped down our living expenses so that we could survive on his salary alone, which allowed me to work smoothly and not have to stress about hitting a certain dollar amount. So I didn't ease into it. I went from working full-time in advertising to working full-time as a health coach. But again, I had that padding or cushion of income. So that's really the trick for making it work, because there's never going to be a day when you can make enough as a health coach working part-time that well, there might be a day, but it's rare that you're going to work part-time as a health coach and make so much money that you're able to say, oh, I don't need my full-time job anymore. I will now just do this full-time. Chances are, if you're only working part-time, you're not able to put as many hours in as you need to make the salary that you need. So it is always going to be a little bit of a leap to jump over and start health coaching full-time. But I hope that helps. Keep your expenses down and have some sort of cushion for your income. I got like 2 more minutes. So if you have a question for me today, please put it in the comments. And I do have one right here from Sharon. And Sharon says, I was presented with a great opportunity to collaborate with a Pilates studio who's interested in finding ways to help their clients that are starting to plateau. I assume that means with weight. I am unsure of how to structure the relationship. Ideally, remaining independent and using this as a referral relationship would be best. However, it seems as though they want to incorporate health coaching into their brand. Does anyone have any experience in this type of situation? Sharon, I agree with you. I think the very best arrangement that you could have, especially as this is new, this would be a new arrangement, is to remain independent. Show up, do a workshop, get those people onto your mailing list and market to them separately. I imagine that the studio is thinking about their own business model. Why should they be sending their clientele your way so that you can earn money if they could be actually accepting that money themselves and having a health coach on staff? If that were the case, it's likely they're going to be paying you less. And that might be okay if the dollars work out. It's usually a split where maybe if they are bringing the clients to you and people are registering online on their website or whatever, and you literally just show up and they're like, oh, hey, Sharon, you have a new client today. I mean, that's a beautiful thing. That's worth the money. So if they're going to take 30% or 40%, I would say like that's a great situation, but they have a ways to go before they get there. If they're not doing this yet, it's not going to happen tomorrow that they just have this steady stream of clients coming to them asking to sign up with the on-staff health coach. And the other reason I would be very careful about integrating myself with another business is because, and I've heard about this, health coaches might get involved with the yoga studio, with the Pilates studio, and next year, that studio goes out of business, and there goes all your business. So it can be more advantageous for you to remain independent, build your list, build your own thing over here, but have a relationship with the studio where they refer to you, and there could still be some sort of referral fee. If you hold workshops there, same thing. If it's a paid workshop, they might keep 30% and give you 70%. But if they want to make it an income stream for themselves, they are really going to have to figure that out and pitch something really good to you. And still, if you go for it, be careful and keep your own individual practice going on the side so that you don't ever run the risk of being left in the dust. All right, that is all for today, you guys. Please head over to iTunes and leave a rating and review for the Health Coach Power Community podcast so we can keep reaching more coaches. And maybe next time, I will read your review on the air. In the meantime, please keep asking all your great questions, and I promise to keep answering them. I'll be back next week. See you then.